Hello students, welcome back. Let us continue with chapter 14, statistics, the third exercise, that's 14.3 on page 258 of your textbooks. The first question, a survey conducted by an organization for the cause of illness and death amongst women between the ages 15 to 44 in years worldwide found the following figures. So here we have a frequency distribution table. Can you guess what kind of frequency distribution table this is? Yes, it is the ungrouped frequency distribution table where you have the individual unique causes and the female fatality rate given in percentage. Now, we need to represent the information on the bar graphically. So, when we have an ungrouped frequency distribution table, the pictorial representation for it would be bar graphs. So, we have to represent this using a bar graph and then answer these two questions which we will take a look at after drawing the bar graph. Obviously, I think we can answer the question taking a look at this table itself, but it's better that we draw the bar graph since we have to do a graphical representation and then we will write down the answers. So, I have my coordinate axis, that's the x-axis, y-axis meeting at the origin. I have my scale. Now, we need to plot the bars using the causes and female fatality rate. So, obviously, the causes are individual variables, unique values, and they are these are the variables, names of the variables, and these are the values of the variable. So, this will be on the x-axis, whereas this will be on the y-axis, right? Now, so let me just write down causes out here, and I have female fatality rate, so now I have just given the labeling to my coordinate axis. But I hope you have understood the question. This is about female fatality rate. Fatality is nothing but death. So, I will just write it here. Fatality is nothing but death. Now, the different reasons. The reasons are broadly classified into 6 different categories. The first one being reproductive. So, this is not in chronological order. These are the different reasons, individual reasons. The first one being reproductive health conditions. So, what are reproductive health conditions? Take for example a plant. For a plant to grow properly, it needs adequate sunlight, the right kind of soil, then proper amount of water. Too much of water or less amount of water can cause it to wither away. Similarly, for women to nurture kids in their wombs, they need proper kind of diet, they need to be healthy and the right kind of environment. And if any of these conditions is not met, then it could lead to a lot of reproduction issues and the women might die. Then you have neuropsychiatric conditions. Neuro is related to the brain. So, if there is any brain related problem and if right medication is not taken at the right time and even if diagnosis is not done at the right time, then it could lead to fatality and the woman might die. And this is not just common among women, but it's also among men. This one, neuropsychiatric conditions. The only thing is that we are doing the statistics for women. That is why we are considering 25.4% for only women. Then we have injuries. Now, this is very uncommon. Not everyone every day is coming across an injury, right? So, if there is an accident that takes place or there is if there's something that falls on the head and it's fatal, then injuries might also lead to death. Then cardiovascular conditions. Cardio, we know it's related to the heart. So, if there is any heart condition like your triglyceride level is going high or the blood pressure is very low or there's a lot of cholesterol, and even that can cause to lead to death. Then respiratory conditions, we have respiratory conditions related to the lungs. It could be asthma, bronchitis, and again if proper medication is not done and the right environment is not there, if there is a lot of pollution or pollen grains flowing here and there where the woman is living, then it could lead to breathlessness and the women might die. So, respiratory happens when there is not sufficient supply of oxygen to the brain and to the lungs. And there are other causes also. So, you can say these are miscellaneous causes and the rate out here is 22.0. So, I hope now you have understood the question. What we will do is we will go ahead and plot the bars. So, now I have to consider my coordinates on the x-axis and the y-axis. I have already given the labels, causes and female fatality rate. Now, these labels are really huge, so it's not really practically possible to write these down. I will write their names into the bar graphs that I draw. So now for this 31.8, 25.4, 12.4, 4.3, 4.1, 22.0, what I will do is I will take units of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. And you can keep going on and on. The arrows indicate that the line extends indefinitely. So now what we are going to do is draw the bars according to the values out here on the y-axis. And please note that all these values, they are equidistant at 5 units. So now I am going to give the labels. I am going to write down the scale later on once we have drawn the graph. But please note that there is a difference of 5 everywhere. So these points are equidistant. So 5 minus 0 is 5, 10 minus 5 is 5, 15 minus 10 is 5, 20 minus 15 is 5, and so on. So going ahead with drawing the graph, let's take the first one, 31.8, and I hope you know how to draw the do the drawing on the bar graph, plotting on the bar graph, on the graph sheet. So first one is 31.8 for reproductive health conditions. So let's check. 31.8 will be somewhere over here. So I will draw my graph or bar. This is the first one for reproductive health conditions. Let's check the other one, neuropsychiatric conditions, which is 25.4. So 25.4 will be just above 25 for the second one. I will leave a gap of 1 unit out here. So 25.4. Alright. Now the third one is injuries, which is 12.4. So 12.4 will be just above 10. And then we have cardiovascular injuries, which is 4.3. So 4.3 will be somewhere out here. And you have respiratory conditions, which is 4.1. So let's check 4.1. It will be somewhere over here. And finally you have other conditions, which is 22.0. So 22.0 will be just above 20. So now what we have done is that we have drawn the bars for the given question. Now we need to label these bars according to the categories. So what you can do is you can write the names inside the bars, you can write it at the top, or you can write it at the base, whatever you find convenient. Since we do not have enough space, I am just going to write it on top. So I'll say or you can just I'll write it this way: reproductive health conditions. So I'm just writing HC besides it because we do not have enough space. And then you have neuropsychiatric conditions. So again I will say neuro and conditions. Okay, and then we have injuries. So I can write down injuries out here. And then we have cardiovascular conditions. So I'll just write cardio. Then we have respiratory conditions. So I'll just write respiratory. And so on. So I'm just writing because we do not have much space, and then we have other causes. So I'll just write other. Okay. So this is done. The labeling is done. The bars are done. We have to write down the scale. So let's write down the scale. So 1 centimeter is equal to cause on x-axis, and on the y-axis we have 5% on y-axis. So this is about question number 1. Please take a look. Okay, so now we have already done this bar graph. What we will do is we will answer these questions. Which conditions is the major cause of women's ill health and death worldwide? So if you can take a look at the bar graph, the tallest bar will account for the problems of female fatality rate worldwide. This is nothing but reproductive health conditions. Alright, and the second question, try to find out with the help of a teacher any 2 factors that play a major role in the cause of question 2 above being the major cause. So like I discussed, reproductive health conditions could lead to fatality when the right environment is not there, when there is no proper diet. So I'll say lack of proper diet. It could be because of illness. It could be because of unhealthy environment. Bad food practices. And even if the expecting mother, the pregnant lady, if she is expecting and she comes across an injury, it could lead to a miscarriage or something. So this is another one. So injuries. So this injury is slightly different from the injuries that generally happens on the road or something like that. It could be, these kind of injuries could lead to miscarriage because there's a lot of stress, even because of stress. So you can just write stress as well. Because of stress, the woman blacks out and she collapses and there's a miscarriage and things like these. So we have finally drawn the bar graph here, and these are the answers. Please take a look. Thank you for watching this video.
Hope this video increased your knowledge. For more such videos and a completely free educational content, log on to www.epathshala.org or visit our ePathshala YouTube channel. We have each and every question solved for maths, physics, chemistry and biology. So subscribe our channel, share with your friends, like our Facebook page and follow our Twitter handle for regular updates and important educational tips, and also win ePathshala goodies. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe this channel and enjoy the freedom of education.